Hey guys, Stacking Pennies, Too Tough to Tame edition. Top 10 for the boys, P9, let's freaking go. Chase Briscoe getting the dub and now is a Southern 500 champ. He's going to be joining us on the show, so buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey friends, Corey LaJoie here alongside Ryan Flores. One of us had a good day, the other did not.
I set the pit box up and then tore it down.
You said you hit the practice nut 3 times.
Yep.
Then looked up, then you were crashed.
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough for everybody because we had a really good car. It seemed like I was watching practice on Saturday, and they just kept talking about our long run speed, and I felt like we had a really good car there in the spring as well. And we got tore up with the 19 and the 24, and then it happened again. Same thing. I think we got a video of it.
Groundhog
we just cover
Day.
our day really quick because ours was short and yours was long.
Yes, it was. 19 gets them to there really hot. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Smash, smash.
Well, Ryan said, he's like, I thought he was just going to spin out. But
No, he was trying to save it. I got it. I ain't got it.
And Ryan hit directly with his with the wheel, which is tough with the rack. Oh man,
the track was really tight to fire off the race. There we go. We see how the windshield of the 12 here watching on YouTube. Side. Oh no! Oh, big shot. Big shot. I heard that there was potentially some injuries involved there, and Ryan got out of the Injury Care Center, said he was okay. But what happened?
I think he tweaked his arm a little bit, which would you do when you hit with the wheel first, right? There's a steering rack, so it throws the wheel around.
Where was it? Was it Talladega? Where was it that he crashed and grabbed his wrist real quick?
That was Indy years ago. He did that. I don't know how.
It might have been.
There was another one, but it was a Indy in the 21 car where he did it.
No, this was in the 12.
And then recently he grabbed it again.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's tough. Dude, he's the son of the Buckeye Bullet. There ain't nothing to hold him down.
No.
That's what we needed,
He'll be
little.
all right.
He sent us a text right after it, like, let's go. Playoff time, let's go.
Yeah, 10 weeks.
Make our own luck. So that was tough, but your night was good.
It was good. Needed it.
You needed it. I stand by Randy LaJoie's comments. The older we get, the more I realize the shit he said forever that we look at him sideways, he's right.
Yeah, most of the time.
You do. The hard comes easy to you. It's the easy that's hard for you. I stand behind him with that.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I hope that then wherever you end up next can harness that, because I think that truly just needs a little bit different type of leadership style, or something that can prod you to say to tell you that the right way, because
I think it's sometimes knowing when to go 95% and when to push it, when to crack the whip and when to pull the reins.
Hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. Is that Charlie Daniels would say that? Who is that? Kenny Rogers. Same, yeah. My bad.
Know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em. Well, we held them all the way up, just enough. Our motto for the week was going to be 95%. 95% in practice. Lay a nice, smooth fairway drive down qualified 19th. Went out second in Group B for, low in the metric from Daytona. Felt good about that lap. And then get in the race and give yourself a little space, get settled in, make sure you make some good adjustments with the car. Fired off tight first run, which I was a little bit concerned because the track usually swings tighter. But we set in the lead lap. Pit crew killed it. Stayed off the wall. Raced around Chase Elliott pretty much all night. I was in front of him. He was in front of me. 48 was around me. So those guys had a bit of an off night from what we're used to seeing those guys have.
Seemed like Spire unloaded with speed with Carson.
Played a absolute heater down.
Yeah,
2 of them.
Qualifying on the outside pole. He was close to getting the pole, which was a big deal for them to start on the outside pole. Looked like you guys had some speed. Did you feel like you had a top 10 car or no?
I think.
So when we talked last night,
if we looked at raw speed, we were a 15th, 18th place car. And guys took care of themselves.
We said it last week on here, though. It's a place where if you stay in it and you keep fighting and your team executes, you will jump them.
Yeah.
And then you get a couple good restarts. And
Caution
Steve
falls your
Letarte,
way.
yeah, Steve Letarte said it last night too. You know, you get a spot in pit road, then that puts you up another lane, and you get a good choose, and now you're there's 4 cars in front of the guy that you're 4 cars in front of the guy you were just racing. That's how that race plays out.
For sure.
And then we saw like Chase have a great restart, Kyle Busch have a great restart. But I will say, I'll go back to you, like you don't finish 9th at the Southern 500
by luck
if you don't know how to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just harnessing that.
That's
and
the
getting
hardest
some
thing.
Confidence back.
Yeah.
But a lot of this, we see it not only like driver standpoint, pit crew standpoint, crew chiefs.
It's all confidence.
Is like you have to fail fast. You have to know how to fail. It's such a big part of the job, and we see that even with young pit crew guys. Like there's kids that'll come and do great right off the bat, and it's like, yeah, that's good. Anybody can be good when it's going good, right? How do you dig yourself out of a hole? Because it's inevitably going to happen. So I was happy to see
hole.
You've been digging yourself in a hole, and people have been throwing dirt in there.
Oh, yeah.
Here
Loving
you go.
to see. Oh, get the hammer out for the nails.
Yeah.
Let's see how far we can bury him.
So that was good to see you come back.
Cue up the video of The Undertaker coming out, popping up out of the coffin. Yeah, that's a freaking hard race, man. I think that's also why we're going to talk to Chase in a bit. But the Southern 500 is what drivers look forward to because it is a true test of your mental focus. I mean, it's a place where it's hard to get in a rhythm. Track changes so much. Rubbers lays down in a bunch of different areas. Your car's driving different runs. You have to execute your green flag entries and exits. There is so much time to leave on the table. And when you're in that 14th to 18th place range where we were all night, the difference of having a slow stop or a slow pit road entry is the difference of going a lap down, and that can snowball your night for the wrong direction. But we executed that all night. We had a long stop. I believe we might have do we have the video of that? When the hose got stuck under the right front splitter, I think it was a 14 or 15-second stop. Lost a lap there. Got a wave around. Dug down deep and made it happen. The right side stayed clean all night. I made sure to give myself an extra foot of room. Guys, when guys start ripping the fence in 3 and 4, you just have no margin for error. So there's a couple instances where you go in there and you know you have an extra foot. You can slip a tire and kind of chase it and not hit the fence. But
well, it's like
it was
I'm
a
not
blast,
trying to
man. I had fun.
I'm not trying to have an intervention here, but
What do you mean?
It seems like, and you've said it to me, but I don't think you've said it on here. Like your leadership style is when stuff's going bad, you just take the ball and you just try harder. And like you said, 95%. Like I think you were at 125% because there was a couple weeks where it was like,
what are you doing? No
toe link was safe. And I'm like, yo, you're better than this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know why I'm making these mistakes. And then you said to me on the phone, you're like, what? You know that? Okay, the team obviously fires you, so they don't believe in you. Your car chief's leaving. Your crew chief's getting promoted. The end is near. People are cashing the chips, and you just go, all right, just give me the ball. I'll take care of it. And you try.
That's not how it works.
But I think you realize, like, it takes a little bit to go, I was just trying too hard.
Yeah.
And hey, not to mention, your crew chief is having a stellar rookie year, right? So all that stuff creeps in.
Teammate.
But, all right, that's what I meant. Your teammate is having a stellar rookie year.
Yep.
Oh, man, he looks like Napoleon Dynamite every time I look at him. But he wheels. He is fast.
He's got a lead foot for sure.
But, yeah, that's such a big part of this is figuring out that noise, getting back on the horse, and you have 10. I think you have 10 opportunities as you look at it to finish the year strong, and dictate where you're going to be moving into next year.
Well, we had a better average finish in the playoffs last year than Martin Truex did, so I feel pretty good about the stretch of races.
Oh, freaking Marvin Turnex Jurgens. He got us.
He wiped you right out. Wiped himself out too.
Yeah, he is not.
That's a good way to just like grab a nice beverage on the way to the house and just watch the
No, I had to sit there.
I know you had to sit there. It's brutal, dude.
Yeah, I had to sit there. Well, Marvin, I tell the story that we called him Marvin Turnex Jurgens.
Why?
I just back in the day when him and Cole Pern used to kick everybody's butt, the 22 team came up with They were villains. Marvin Turnex Jurgens and Copernicus. That's what you do during 500-mile races when you're sitting there waiting for the car to pit. You just
or rain delays.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or when you wreck and you have to sit in the lounge for 500 miles like we did yesterday.
Dude, that's a long one, too, to sit in the bus.
Run out of dumb stuff to say. You start making stuff up. So, yeah, we sat there the whole race and watched. And it was exciting.
Well, I think we jumped forward because, one, I was super impressed by Bubba. Back up against the wall, 21 points down going into the weekend, lays a heater down to take the pole in qualifying, setting that 23-11 group up right where they need to be. Try to execute stage points. Ross qualified deep, wasn't in contention to get stage points. So let's hear what Bubba had to say when it come to getting some points.
Yeah, there you go. You got 9 points, 17 got 1. The 1 got none. He's 22nd. So keep hammering. Good job.
All I got is winning on the mind, bud. Don't give a about points.
10-4, well, I'll just keep you information. You keep your focus. I got you.
Less information would be better. Appreciate it.
He was fiery.
Yeah, 10-4. He's locked in.
Locked in.
Boss man there, too.
You know what, though? Like, stage points were really important because
after 2 stages, he was tied or in the hunt, right? Something like that.
Marvin Turnex Jurgens was on the hot seat. I think he only made it in by 6 points over the 17 because he wrecked early. So it ended up not mattering because you had to win the race. But at that point in the time, throughout the race, right, the goals change and the mission shifts. But he was smart.
I would agree with Bubba's take on that of like you don't have any influence on how those other guys are doing if the 17's on your bumper or running dead last. So it's nice to know maybe what sort of aggression level need to be. Okay, our game plan here is we probably need to get some track position and get some stage points. That's probably what Booty was trying to do. But
yeah,
you have to be completely present at Darlington. You can't have like thinking about numbers, like the little gif about the Hangover where the little numbers are going. He's trying to play blackjack and count cards. Like you can't have that. You are concentrated on running as fast as you can up on the verge of the tire with the lady in black just waiting to grab you.
Oh, the 17 was worried about points, and it got hairy there with him in the 38. Did you see the 38?
Plugged him right in the fence.
Did the 38 plug him in the fence?
Yeah.
I just saw one replay
now,
of this.
I want to I got the 17s back here because I'm sure there's some fans that are like, oh, well, he did the same thing right rear the 38. If you are on the outside in this situation, the bump off of 2 it'll take your rear tires off the ground. So the 17 gets plugged in the fence simultaneously his tires are off the ground, and it will absolutely shoot you to the left here. You also don't see the 38 lift. So the 38 was in the throttle, plugs him in the fence, and he gets turned around.
Oh. You think they'll look at SMT like, is that a...
Yeah.
Oh, is that could be a Chase Elliott?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Because I got
Can
the
of
drivers.
worms.
I got the drivers back here.
Can of worms. Don't want to open it.
Yeah, we'll keep that shut.
Fish, yeah. That's what the back of that car said. Ooh.
Now, by myself, 4 or 5 instances out of 2, if you hit that bump with some extra wheel into it.
Big man.
So I heard Tar. Yeah, that's sports, man. Sports. Frustrated. Well, he's frustrated because he knows what it's going to take to get him in the playoffs, and he just got plugged in the fence
By a Ford teammate.
By a Ford teammate. It doesn't take much to knock performance out of these cars, and that was a big shot. But back to what I was saying, if you hit that bump 3 or 4 foot off the bottom, and you hit that, it does a tank slapping moment by yourself. So he hit the bump with wheel in it, trying to stay out of the fence, plugs in the fence, gets into the right rear 38. Sorry about your bad luck.
Can I say something about this being the last race of the playoffs? Because we're going to queue up Chastain staying out on the restart here. Because Chastain has to throw a Hail Mary, and we can roll it. Chastain has to throw a Hail Melon, which is illegal now. He's got to figure out another way to do it. But you can do that at Darlington. Because if you go there and it's a straightforward Southern 500, you're not trying to lock yourself in. It's pretty straightforward when you pit, when you don't.
Yeah.
But everybody knowing that, dude, did you see Briscoe's move here? Watch this move from Briscoe. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, watch it, baby. They're dragging each other back.
Oh. Yes.
Clears them, runs. He does some Kyle Larson stuff to Kyle Larson there.
Yes. Yes.
See ya.
That was badass.
That's the move that wins in the race. But,
Yeah.
you know, like with – okay, so Daytona is a crapshoot
I also
race.
run that back. Back it up. I did hear Kyle Larson's post-race interview. He said he was being was it slightly less what was I don't know verbatim, slightly less aggressive or cautious potentially in this instance
Because he was trying to win the regular season championship?
Yes.
Dude, did you see Kyle Larson from the rafters on Twitter last night?
No. What'd he say?
So, Denny tweeted, like, I haven't won a championship, but at least I won one as an owner.
Okay.
Like, the regular season championship. They didn't win the owner's championship. The
oh.
5-car won the owner's championship. So,
Oh no.
Larson was like, well, not quite. Like, and Larson will just like, he'll just come in there and like, boop, okay, I'm out of here.
Like back into the bushes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man, that's so brutal. So, yeah, Tyler Reddick wins
Like
the drivers' regular season
which
championship.
you don't get paid out for drivers, you get paid out for owners.
Yes. So, it makes it a little messy because he wins the owners' regular season, the
And
5,
he gets
because the 5-car got full points for the 600 when he was racing the Indy 500. And Kyle didn't get any points from that. They need to give, we're looking at a picture here of the tweet. Biggest takeaway from the tweet, give Tyler Reddick a freaking milk crate when he has to stand next to Michael Jordan.
It's so funny.
It doesn't even, it looks like a little kid taking a picture with his favorite sports.
It does. Like, no, it looks like Tyler Reddick's going to, like, it looks like he's 7 years old and he goes, like, MJ's basketball camp, you know, and he's, like, he's holding the ball with MJ, like, yeah.
I won the
All right, kid, next one in line. Well, MJ, I'm sorry, I just pooped my pants.
So,
What was going on there?
I don't think he actually pooped his pants.
You don't think any residual came
No,
out?
he didn't actually poop. He said that he felt like he was going to.
I'll tell you an instance where he probably did squirt some out is when we were racing at the end for like 9th and 10th. He tried to slide me into 3, pull up the tape, Piggy, and he was going faster sideways than he was going forward.
Oh, and you crossed him back up. You didn't even let him have it.
No, I wasn't going to let him have it. I got to get my top 10.
Was for position?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Well, he ended up working
10th.
out for him.
He finished 10th. There was
You beat the regular season champ, man. Look at you.
Yeah, keep chirping. That car was hideous. I don't know why that thing got so much like positive talk about because it had Wayne Gretzky on it and the owner. Yeah, it's got a couple goats on the hood. Sweet. The car's hideous.
It's not a great looking car.
But I digress.
I want to hear.
I want to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
I'm just really fighting it right now in here. Get some crackers or something to do. Just plain crackers. I don't know. Bread, something. Yep, ma'am. We'll get you.
Dude.
I'm just curious for CJ's feedback here. You worried about throwing up or no, just stomach stuff? Yeah, I'm throwing up. Being myself, all of it. All right, so it's both. All right, we got you covered.
So right then, what happened is everybody whose kid was at MRO with Bo was trying to get their kid away from Bo.
That's what like
Kelly
Kelly
said.
said. Kelly said they were all watching the TV, and he said that, and they all looked.
Well, hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
School started down in the South here in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which means your kids get sick. So if Bo is going to school, that transfers over. Because the first thing that I saw when they showed Rambo at Saltines was think about me shaking Tyler Reddick's hand an hour before he got in the car. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, no, I got it.
Uh-oh. But he ended up being able
dude.
being able to pinch it off.
He pinched it.
He did.
And he got it home by 1 point. Because I'd assume Kyle Larson has a tiebreaker. So, congrats to Tyler Reddick and that 2311 group. Still locked in.
Yeah.
Such a heater of a run besides Daytona last week.
That's a big deal to win that regular season championship, man. That's really hard. That's a new group. Their pit crew did a great job. They made their pit crew stronger. Shout out to everybody over there at the 45. But the 23 got some bad luck here. Big wreck.
Yeah, I watched this a couple times. Man, that's threading the needle.
You got to go.
Got to go.
Ooh.
That's even hard to put blame on somebody, right? It's just like a part of where you have to be aggressive. You have to. It's getting down to it. The sun's down in Darlington. Pay window's starting to open up.
That's just gritty, dirty South Carolina NASCAR racing.
It really is. The 11's down there on the flat.
Did you see the video of Richard Childress in that white cowboy hat?
No.
Oh, you got to go back and watch it. I'll just let the fans go back and watch that one.
Here we go, in-car camera. Bubba's got it missed. He's got it missed. Downshifting. Brum, brum. Noah says, I'm wrecking. Tell him I'm coming.
Well, he didn't have it missed.
I mean, he would have run in the back of the 24. Worst case there, he caves the snorkel in.
How much, too?
Oh, okay, that thing was wrecked.
How much?
I do. I hate that for him. He
Can you lay it up against the wall there, like softly, to help slow down?
Mm-hmm. But you'd rather. That's not your first instinct.
Here's Corey's cam. Whoa.
I'm right here when you're trying to miss a wreck. You're looking in your mirror as much as you're looking out the front.
It's like when you're on 77, everybody stops, and then you go, oh, that's 5 spots.
Yes,
that's free.
Today might be my day.
Hey,
let's go. Need one.
Tell him to get that top 10 bonus warmed up because I'm coming for it.
Yeah,
I'll send you my routing number. Hold on.
No, they got it. Get the feather quill. Here we go. Final restart. Chase Briscoe. What's this? 20-something to go, maybe.
See the 5 laying back, and he said nope.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and launch.
Is it dirty on the bottom to restart down there? Look at the 8. Look at the 8. He said it ain't dirty down here. Here I come. I got fresh tires.
Dude,
that's huge. Some Kyle Busch doing Kyle Busch things there.
It was cool too because Letarte was like, that's a future Hall of Famer, 63 race wins.
Watch out, Bradley.
Are you on fresh tires here?
Yeah, well, there was like 6 of us on fresh tires probably. Racing the 11. A little bit he got me, then he rolled the 22 on the last lap. It was a pretty sweet move.
He got the 22?
Yeah, last corner. Now what it did look eerily similar to was the 2020 race. Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch going head-to-head down to the line. Probably one of the biggest watershed moments in Chase Briscoe's career. Go and run the tape.
Went into the bottom, gave that opportunity. Oh, he's in the fence.
He got in the fence, too.
Chases them down. Let's see what they do. Shallow entry. Keeps it up top.
Oh.
That's racing there, boys.
It was close to that because the 8 got close. The 98 hit the fence with 2 to go or 1 to go, and the 8 got close. But we're going to talk to Chase here in a little bit, and I think he'll talk about the strength. His car was stronger in 1 and 2 than it was in 3 and 4. And
look how far they drove off, too. That is just laying heaters down.
Kyle Busch throwing everything at Chase Briscoe he can.
They're driving them things.
And the 29-year-old from Mitchell, Indiana, Chase Briscoe.
Lee Diffie is awesome, but I could not help but think, watching it, because I don't get to watch it ever, right? We were wrecked watching it. He sounds just like Bluey's dad. Sounds like Bandit. Everybody that has kids can be like, yes, he does
What
Bandit.
if that's his side job?
That's great. Dude, Bandit makes me feel like an inadequate father. He's such a good dad. That's like my favorite show to watch.
Bluey's great.
Bluey's great. He sounds like Bandit. He's doing a great job, and he gets me fired up. I saw a good stat, too. 9 different winners at the end of the season. 6 different teams won the last 6 races. So 9 different winners in the last 9 races. 8th different driver to snap a 40-plus win streak this season. That is a tweet from Patrick Perrin. I thought that was really cool, dude.
Yeah.
And the different teams that have won: Penske, Hendrick, Childress, 2311, Wood Brothers, and Stewart Haas. So this car's doing what it's meant to do.
Parity.
We can hate it as much as we want. Don't like it flipping over or whatever. It's parity.
Any given Sunday could be your day.
That's it.
Look at it. 14. he was under the radar. Nobody had him picked to take the Southern 500. But nonetheless, I don't want to keep him waiting any longer. Let's go ahead and talk to Chase Briscoe and hear what he has to say. Big dub last night at Darlington. Coming right up. All right, guys, Stacking Pennies is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, it's always a stressful time, but for me, it's kids going back to school. I got a 2-month-old baby. Life is a bit chaotic. Career's not going as good as I wanted to. Trying to turn all that around, so the fog of disappointment can be real. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody. That's why you need to go check out BetterHelp, because I don't want to go sit in a lobby next to other people. I don't want to know their stuff. They don't want to know my stuff. But BetterHelp wants to know your stuff, and they want to help you through it, give you a little better perspective, help out wherever they can. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp.com/stackingpennies for the first month is 10% off. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/stackingpennies. Ladies and gentlemen, throwing a Hail Mary from the 5-yard line and making and punching his ticket into the playoffs, Southern 500 champion Chase Briscoe joins the show. Wow.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Wow. Before we get into it, buddy, hell of a job. Hell of a job.
Thank you.
Not only was that 14 Ford Mustang a hot rod this weekend, I was intrigued by the hot rod that you drove down there this weekend, because there was a gnarly Mercedes sitting out front of your bus. And you told me that this was your splurge. Tell the fans that this was what your first big boy car purchase was.
Yeah, I've never bought anything really ever. My wife always gets on to me because I just will never buy anything for myself. And I've always liked the Mercedes AMG GT. I've always thought they're super cool looking. And yeah, so after about probably a month and a half ago, I was looking them up, and there was one in Charlotte, and it was the exact color I've always liked. The interior was exactly what I would order.
Gray. Nasty.
Yeah, it's like a weird looking gray, and yeah, it had the carbon fiber package, and I'm just gonna go look at it. Mm-hmm. So I went and looked at it, and I was like, all right, I just wanted to see it. And I'd never really seen one in person. So yeah, and then I told my wife, I was like, I'm ready to leave, and she's like, we're not leaving. And I was like, yeah, we are. I don't need a car. So anyways, she's like, just test drive it.
No.
So I test drove it, and the thing's backfiring and everything else, sounding all cool. And I mean, it was cool. And I'm not buying this. This is the dumbest thing I could do. And yeah, I ended up obviously buying it. And that's the only thing I've ever bought for myself. So I'm glad that last night helped pay the payment on it.
Well, what'd you do? Sign a contract with Joe Gibbs and said, now I'm a damn race car
and I'm
driver.
going to be Denny's teammate, so I got to kind of start acting like Denny a little bit. So I better buy some expensive.
I know Coach told me when I signed, he said, look, I like my drivers motivated and in debt. So I was just trying to listen to my new boss.
Taking the boss's advice.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude,
I saw a bunch we parked in the coach lot this week. 2 Cybertrucks in there. Nerds.
I saw some Cybertrucks in there. I didn't know who they were.
I think Kaz Grella has one too.
Nerd.
I don't know if they're the dumbest thing I've ever seen or the coolest thing I've ever seen.
But they're both. I swear, and
they are both.
I swear Elon did that as a joke, like he did the flamethrowers. It's got to be. But what wasn't a joke was that run this weekend, dude.
Holy cow.
Pretty impressive.
Well, Darlington's obviously got a soft spot in your heart. Probably a career-defining win back in the Xfinity days up against Kyle Busch. It was almost like deja vu of sorts. When you looked in the mirror and saw that 8-car coming at the end, did you have any flashbacks to that race from a couple years ago?
Yeah, so, I think we ran 2 or 3 laps, and the caution came out. And Kyle was, I want to say I was in second, and Kyle was 4th or 5th. And I watched him pull off a pit road, and I literally said to myself, well, that was dumb. Why would they pit? That just ruined their chance of winning. Because I figured he was going to have to restart 20th. I figured a ton of guys would stay out. And then I get the lead on that restart, and on the second lap, Kyle Busch is in second. And I was like, this is not good for me. And yeah, the whole last kind of 15 laps felt identical to that Xfinity race in 2020. Kyle was better than me, was able to kind of run me down. And in that Xfinity race, I was so loose and sideways. It was the same, last night I was more sideways that last run than I was really the whole night. And just knew that I was better than him in 1 and 2. And really all night long, even like with Larson, everybody, I could beat everybody in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 was kind of my weakness. After like 20 or so laps, my car was weird. Like the first 15 laps of a run, I could run the bottom where nobody else could run the bottom in 3 and 4, and I'd make up a ton of time. And then as the run would go on, they would all kind of get better on the fence, and I just wasn't as good. So I knew that it was going to be hard for Kyle to pass me if I just hit 1 and 2 right every time. And he got way closer than I thought he was going to get. And then with how loose I was, I just knew I couldn't let him get to my left rear in 3 and 4. So every time he would get close, I would just try to enter on the wall and just pick up the throttle super early and just kind of squirt away from him in the center and just let my exit be kind of whatever it was. But certainly felt a lot like deja vu. And, honestly, even that Xfinity race, I felt like I took something away from that I applied last night, just racing Kyle. I kind of knew what he was going to do at the end of the race and what line he was going to run getting into 3 and things like that. And it is kind of ironic, I guess, that both of my Darlington wins have come against Kyle Busch.
What are the things going through your head? What are your kind of data points that you're trying to execute on those last 15 laps? Is it to try to be perfect? Is it to try to run the wall? Is it try to be defensive and race out the mirror? What are some things that you're trying to do to get the dub?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. The initial restart, I knew that I was going to be in good shape, being on the top. Christopher had came up and hit me as soon as we did the choose, and like hit me and told me like, "Hey, I'm going to smoke you and just go whenever I hit you." And me and him had raced, video games since we were really 12, and we had done those types of starts forever. So when he did it, I put my hand up. I was like, "Come on with it, let's do it." And I was able to
the five laid back.
Yeah,
too.
A little bit of shaking and baking.
The 5 laid back bad because I was like, I thought they were going to call it because I was like, man, the 5.
Who's control car?
You were the control car, but the 5 laid back. He was almost at your number, right? And like,
he was pretty far back
because he's raced for wins the last couple weeks, right? So the further you get up there, you haven't been racing for the wins in the last couple weeks, and it's like it changes in those restart games. So I was like, man, I wonder if Larson's going to roll him or what's going to happen. And you just took off. You were clear by the start-finish line.
I was clear by the start-finish line. Christopher gave me a huge push. And so from that point, I knew my car was extremely good on the short run. Like all night long, I had typically, at least on Larson, 4 or 5 tenths the first 10 laps of the run. So I knew I was going to be able to make quite a bit of ground. But then, 3 laps into that run, well, now the 8 car was behind me and he had better tires. So I tried to save just the slightest bit of tire, but at the same time I was way freer than I'd been the whole night. And if that race goes another 5 laps, I probably don't win the race. Even if it's another 3 or 4, it was going to be close just with how loose I was. But I tried to just focus on getting through 1 and 2 good. I knew as long as I didn't screw up 1 and 2, it was going to be hard for him to get within 2 or 3 car lengths on entry to 3. And then I kept trying to kind of run the slide myself line originally, and he kept running the bottom, and he made some ground up, and I went to the bottom with probably 9 to go, and I missed it and gave up a ton of time. And from that point, I just kind of committed to I'm going to go to the wall because I had raced behind Larson for literally 300 laps, and every time he would go to the wall, I couldn't get by him. I could run him down, but as soon as he'd go to the wall, I would just kind of be stuck. So that was kind of the mentality I went with, and just tried to make sure that I entered with enough speed that Kyle couldn't get to my left rear. So I didn't really enter on the wall. I would kind of cheat it a little bit and just would try to carry speed. And it obviously ended up working out. And I plugged the fence with 2 to go and just pulled kind of a Ross. I just went wide open and it ended up sticking.
Well, the Southern 500 is I don't even think it's arguable how it's the coolest race of the year, in my opinion. I mean, there's Daytona 500 with the Aura and the Prestige, but the Southern 500 is gritty, and it's gnarly. And the packed house last night, and as a race car driver, it takes every ounce of focus and ability and talent that you have. So explain to the listeners what the Southern 500 means as a race car driver, and also now what it means to be a Southern 500 champ.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like when I wake up on Southern 500 morning, I'm just pumped. It's the coolest race you get to run all year long. It's just a total test of man versus machine and just the racetrack. Last night all the guys came over here to the house, and that's what we were all talking about after. It's like, this is probably like the hardest race to win of the entire year,
It
just
is.
from start to finish. The execution you have to have, on pit road, there's a ton of pit stops. Your car has to be extremely good. Like as a driver, you have to be extremely good. And, for us to be able to just win a race this year was awesome, right? But to do it at the Southern 500, which, like you said, is a crown jewel, it's pretty unbelievable. I know in Victory Lane, I just kind of took a moment to look at the names on the trophy, and I was like, how in the world is my name going to be on this? Like, I'm so undeserving compared to these guys. So, yeah, it's definitely a crazy feeling. And like you said, the packed house, everything that goes along with it. It was cool. After I took the checkered, I did like a victory lap backwards, and like every single fan was standing on their feet and like giving me a hat shake. And, that's the cool part. I feel like even the fans there just appreciate how hard it is to run 500 miles there. So yeah, it's for sure the most gratifying win of my career. And yeah, just it's one of those races when you leave, even you last night, like running ninth, like you felt like you accomplished something. I mean, anytime you can have a good run at Darlington, you feel like as a race car driver you did a good job. And certainly winning the Southern 500 is a pretty unbelievable feeling.
Well, there's just so many, and I'll let you go in a second, that there's so many opportunities to end your day. Speeding on pit road, hitting the fence. Anytime you slip a tire there, your margin for error is zero, which when you can have a good day there and you can leave feeling like you got the best of the lady in black, that is, we go back next time and make sure you want to dance with her again.
Oh yeah, and it's
sure
been documented too. Like you said, it takes a whole team, and I think during the race, like it's been documented this year. Storehouse closing down, a lot of guys jumping ship there. I think there's even been talks of internally being nervous getting the cars to the track once the playoffs start, because everybody's kind of cast their chips in. They're going other places, and you could really hear it yesterday in Boswell's NBC interview. But we have some audio here we wanted to play for you because you've had turnover on your pit crew. There's been a lot of noise, and Boswell said this here.
All right, driver. It's on you, brother. It's on you. We're going to take the green with probably 27 to go. We can do this. This is our chance to race for a championship as a group at SHR one last time. So 323 employees counting on us. We can do this.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
What did you what were you feeling there?
Fired me up.
Yeah, so he said that as we were like on the apron off of turn 2, and we just came out second off pit road, and he said that, and I knew I was going to be on the front row, and I started tearing up, like just knowing like this is the moment right here. Like you're either gonna, win this thing or you're gonna look like a loser, pretty much. Like I just knew that I was willing to do whatever it took, and for me. Everybody knows I was a diehard Tony fan and just a diehard Stuart Haas fan. So I've said all year long, like there's nothing I want more than to get this 14 car and just Stuart Haas racing in Victory Lane in its last season. And it would have been great, if we won next week or sometime in the playoffs, but it would have completely changed the narrative and the morale at our shop if, we win 2 weeks from now versus last night, because now, with us being in the playoffs, it just totally changes everything. Like you were saying, I really felt like it was going to be hard, not from a 14 standpoint. I know the 14 guys are sticking it out to the end no matter what, but just from a company-wide standpoint, if we don't make the playoffs, things probably start changing pretty quickly. So for us now to have at least one bullet in the chamber, inside of our four walls, it certainly, I think, changes the narrative of how our morale is and just everything. So it was literally perfect timing and just, I think, a statement win. You look at every other team in the garage and all they focus on is what can they do to make the fastest car at the racetrack every single week. And our guys are trying to do that, but on top, they're trying to figure out how they're going to do their house payment, how they're going to provide for their family, where they're going to work next year. And there's just a ton of distractions, truthfully. And for us to be able to kind of put all that away and still, bring a car capable of winning at the hardest race of the year is just a testament to everybody there.
Well, and on top of that, too, you have guys that are focused on what their opportunities are next year. Not only guys that don't have jobs, but the ones that do, right? Their focus shifts to how they're going to be successful next year. And to be able to wrangle that back in, and you're able to take advantage of fresh life. And I think it's been documented well through the year, and Boswell is one of the toughest racers in the field. I don't know if you ever look back at his late model days and some of the fiery incidents he had, but you get that group of racers there, fresh life, and you could really take advantage of it and go deep here.
Yeah, for sure. Our group is very fiery for sure. All of our guys are obviously super hungry and just super gritty. And, I say all the time that I feel like they're the best group in the garage. Just, anytime our back's up against the wall, we just kind of perform at a different level. And yeah, I mean, I could see this being like a 2011 Tony Stewart thing. He didn't really run that great all year. Not that we haven't ran great. I think we're 18th or something in points, but, we just haven't had the wins, right? And, the confidence that this race last night brought this team, not only the team, but especially the pit crew, I do think it makes us pretty dangerous here if we can kind of start the playoffs off on the right foot.
We're going, where we go? Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Bristol?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, I was part of that 2014 group, and the one thing that we knew about 5 races into the playoffs was that Darian was gone. So every time that we won or had success, we would look around at each other and know, like, honestly, and it might be a little deep right now, but when you looked around Victory Lane, you got 10 more weeks with that group. And, it's the only Cup team you've ever been on, and you'll change. And maybe in 20 years into this, you're with those guys in the trenches, and then in 10 weeks from now, you might never work with them again. You might not see them much again, So to take advantage of that, I think that as upsetting as it is, or as people might think of it as a detriment, when you get a little chip on your shoulder and, you really can be really dangerous moving forward, I feel like, with the right circumstances.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I kind of feel like it's kind of like the 97 Bulls, right? Like, they knew this was their last time ever going to be together as a team, and they had a lot to prove to the world. I feel like that's kind of where we're at too, is, we all know that we're capable of doing it. We've been able to prove it, and, we haven't been able to prove it as consistently as we probably would like, but we know that when we fire on all 8 cylinders that we can beat any team in the garage. And, that's an exciting feeling, knowing that whenever you do hit it right from, every standpoint, that we're capable of beating anybody. So hopefully we can, do that. And especially when you go and prove it like we did last night, the confidence I think that brings within the team and just the organization, especially at our place right now, just everything that's going on is going to be huge and something that no other team can relate to, and no other team's going to have that kind of chip on their shoulder. So makes it exciting for me to be the one driving it every week.
So Marissa is about a month away from the due date for the twins. I could have swore, seeing how ready she is to pop, that excitement last night would have induced some labor.
Yeah.
I saw Pops there. Hey, Briggs.
I'm on.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Hey, how cool was it, Briggs, to see Dad? I don't know if you could hear me with the AirPods on.
Yeah, you can't hear me. Hey, how cool was it? Did you go to Victory Lane last night? Who did you tell me I had to beat this week? Who was it? Who did you tell me I had to beat? Kyle Larson.
Do you feel like he should do that more often?
Kyle Busch.
Yep, Kyle Busch.
Everybody, all the Kyles.
He told me all week. He said, you got to beat Kyle Larson, you got to beat Kyle Busch.
He wasn't wrong.
He was forecasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear from Tony?
Yeah, he called me in Victory Lane. Yeah, so that was super cool. He's racing the U.S. Nationals this week, drag racing, and he just told me, like, unbelievable job. And it's cool. Like, he went into a lot of other stuff too, but just to hear your hero telling you how amazing of a job and how that was one of the most unbelievable things he's ever watched a race car driver do. It's pretty cool for me, just to have, the guy that you've always looked up to tell you how incredible of a job you did is, pretty special.
What's that memory that you have of Tony that makes you like when you watch it, like, holy cow, how can that guy do that?
I would say, really that whole championship run, right? And then just Tony is one of those guys that's always been incredible in a sense of he can just turn it on and off like any time. And, Tony, the Brickyard wins stand out for sure, but I would say for sure that championship run, more than anything.
Well, Chase, I'm going to let you go. It's Labor Day. I appreciate the time. Big win. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, but
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
That was badass, buddy. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it.
Everybody here at Stacking Pennies is happy for you, and best of luck in the next 10 weeks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Can you say thank you? Say
See you,
see ya. Bye.
Less than this ruler determine the winner of the race.
You put him in this position, and we're having the conversation today about why did every other crew chief miss the two-stop strategy?
This is Formula One racing, this is road course racing, and this is also short track racing.
You've only got to get to here, just over a carway.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race each week on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, that's enough Chase Briscoe because there were some woes on pit road this week. What do we got?
Looks like the 3-car. I haven't watched these yet. We're watching them live. Okay, so he spit the nut out.
Where'd it go? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Tingler, the 3-car was on a heater. They've been really good lately. As you see, slow it down here. When he breaks his wrist, he has a bad pull and breaks his wrist. See how the gun turned?
And the wheel hit it.
Well, the gun got a little crooked on the snout, and then you kind of keep the reason that you pull. He changes with one hand and pulls with the other. Is you keep the gun up there and it pushes the nut. You kind of keep it into that recess that the nut goes in the whole time, so it keeps pressure on it so it doesn't fly out.
And there it goes, ting ting ting
yep.
ting.
Right, and then when he goes to put his spare nut on, he dropped it. Couldn't find it. But
everybody's reaching for one.
They did a good job. Okay, now let's see when the 3-car peels off. Does he get the nut? No, thank God. You always get nervous that they're going to run over him.
Well, it's back in the day it would spit the little small yellow ones, but if it spit one of those suckers, it would be like a discus coming at you.
Now we got the 17. Haven't seen this one yet either. We see them coming in.
I got nothing, man. We honestly this up for you all night, or not all night, but the last few stops. So we're putting it on your shoulders here at this point. We're out at the moment. You got to get to the fast board.
Not terribly slow. Not fast.
They had a slow right rear and a slow left front. Now, if that was under caution, you could lose 5 or 6 spots just like that right there.
Yeah, look, is that what it was? Yeah. It's hard to get those spots back, man, because you just are chipping away at those spots all night. 1 or 2 here. Good restart here. Maintain track position. Go from 8th to 6th to 4th.
Yeah,
and that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen, because you lose 4 or 5 spots on pit road, you line up next to the 38. The 38 gets a little tight up too, plugs you in the fence, your day's done.
Yeah, and the tough part there is they had trouble on the right rear and the left front. So it's like those are the 2 corners where you kind of make the most speed up at times too. So if you're gonna like diagonally across the car, when you have trouble like diagonal from each other is when you lose the most time. But
a lot of stops last night still though. Before we move on to the
14 did a great job.
Yeah.
The one thing I saw last night is everybody was pretty fast, and then the 77 laid down a heater. I was looking at SMT, and they laid down like an 8.5. And then
can you guys see rankings every stop? Like you
can
go to a board.
No, you just go and it just says last pit time, and it just shows you what the last pit was. And right after I saw that, I saw a lot of 8s. The 5-car was ripping. They had a great night. But you start seeing that, and then it becomes a trap. People start trying to go faster. They see that number. They start chasing it. Then you start seeing lug nuts get slung. You start seeing cars get dropped without wheels getting tight. I saw that the 22 actually had an interesting issue. They had the threads on the lug nut get rolled over, and they had to switch out lug nuts during a stop, so they had a blue-collar night. Was able to kind of listen to that. And then they had to swap some people on the 2-car. They had a tire not get caught and roll back on the pit road, so they were going through it. But that's just a race that's like one that you got to pack your lunchbox, clock in, keep your nose down to the grindstone, and just keep working all night long. It's just like a blue-collar day, like you're in the old coal mine. And the same thing for the Xfinity race. The Xfinity race, man, I thought Sheldon was going to get his first win.
He was going to.
He was
going to. 11 second-place finishes for Sheldon Creed. It's unfortunately a record that continues to build because he drives to the lead past Christopher Bell. Off into the sunset he goes, and the yellow comes out. But the last pit stop
Yeah, a little slow on the right rear. They come to the left rear.
Yeesh.
It was just a little slow. I think that's Kale. He throws his
Big mad.
glasses or something at the pit box. Then you go to the 20.
And
These
those
guys,
boys did not have a bad
some
one.
of the best on Xfinity Pit Road. I think they'll say that. I think if you ask anybody, the 21's about a second better than everybody else. But the 20 car is a bunch of old school veterans. You see Kyle
I saw
Power up
Kyle
there,
Powers up there in the front.
Pedro Martinez in the rear. You
Oh.
know it. You know. Oh man.
Oh, yeah, fired
A
up.
little friendly teammate rivalry too. Letting them know out there. Look at Kyle Power. He's fired up. I think he's even going to come jaw at the camera a little bit. He sees it.
You like
He
that?
knows.
You like that?
Kyle, I don't know what he said. He probably said, I put the shelving in Flores' office, and it looks awesome. You should call me. He's got a great, him and his wife, Chrissy, have a great business where they do that on the side. But he's done like
What's it called?
1,000.
Give him a shout out.
Oh, it's called Power or something.
Power Cabinets?
Construction. They do an awesome job. But he's probably done like 1,000 races. He was like the Interstate Battery 18.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing it forever. So
Shout out.
I know the 14 did a great job, the 5 team did a great job, but none of them won the race off pit road to win the race. But the 20 car did, and Christopher Bell did not give them nearly enough of a shout out when he won. He's like talking about how he won on the front stretch, and I think Marty or whoever it is, they're like, "What about your picker?" He's like, "Oh yeah, wouldn't have won without them."
Yep.
So they get the dogs of the week. Good job to the 20 team.
Wow, not often that an Xfinity team gets the dogs.
Yeah, but if you do that, if you put your guy out, they came in second, went out first, won the race, walked their way to victory lane. They're one of the most dominant teams each and every week, and they're old school 5 lug nut guys, right? They're guys that they didn't start doing the 1 lug nut stuff on Cup. They found a home doing Xfinity, and they are winning a ton of races and having a blast down there. I kind of get jealous when I see how much fun they're having. But yeah, shout out to them. Dogs of the week, 20 Xfinity team.
What about Chase's team?
They did good too. There can only be one dog of the week. I mean, Chase's team did a great job. They stepped up when they needed. We said
Southern
it.
500. You probably should be dogs.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
didn't
get
win. They did a good job keeping them in contention. We talked about it all. We talked about it all week long. If it's your best night, right? Like even when Chase was in here, he talked about the struggles they've had. Moose, their jackman, they pulled him off. He hasn't been on the car all year. They've had some turnover in the shop on the pit crew. And they stepped up when the time was right. They had a little bobble on the left rear, I think, with like 2 stops to go or something. The last stop, they absolutely nailed it. One of their fastest stops of the year, put him in position, and he goes on and win the race. And that's what we said sitting here last week in Spare Change, which is why you should be listening to Spare Change, because you'd have known. It's not a crapshoot race or like I don't know, what do they always call it?
Wild card.
Wild card. But it is a place where you can go and have your best night and win the race, right?
Yeah.
It's like aside from your manufacturer, aside from your motor, aside from your car, if you hit it right, that is just a tricky place where if you hit it right, if your driver has his best night, if your team keeps him in it, if your crew chief calls the right race, you can out-execute everybody else.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
And that's
seen Eric
exactly
Jones do
what
it.
we saw.
We saw Chase Briscoe do it this week. The place fits his style. He wheels. Boswell had that thing dialed.
Boswell fiery on the radio. He's like, I think on NBC, he's like, all the nonsense we've been through this year, we don't deserve it. This team's going to show what they're capable of. I was like, damn, Boswell.
Fire me up, Boswell.
Get it, buddy.
Well, he got him fired up enough to get the job done.
He got it. So that leads me, we got a little bit overzealous because Chase was coming in. Question of the week. Is Darlington now the best track for a playoff cutoff? Because we saw the schedule came out last week, and it's now the first race of the playoffs. I personally I like seeing this as, I like it being in the playoffs because it's important, but I also like seeing it as the last race of the regular season because inevitably if it's the first race of the playoffs, guys are going to go in there and be a little timid, get stage points, be careful, and then the guys that are out of it, like the Chase Briscoes and them,
they don't want to screw up.
They're not going to screw it up, so you're not going to see kind of what we saw last night is like big-time players rise to the occasion. the 1 car stay out. People trying different strategy. The 8 car pits and says we got to do something different. So you see everybody kind of rooting and gouging where, yeah, Daytona's fun. You might wreck. You might get a push the right time. This guy might win because either everybody else wrecked or we stayed out of it or, our teammates worked together. Darlington can be, like we saw last night, we saw the best of what Darlington had to offer. We saw the best of what NASCAR has to offer last night.
1,000%.
It don't get no better than that, sorry.
It doesn't. Now, I don't want to sit here and nitpick the schedule, but we saw Darlington delivers, and it's the hardest place that we go to execute, but the race is special. It's crown jewel. I like the fact that the regular season champ isn't taking pictures in front of a mangled car. Like Tyler Reddick executes tonight, wins the regular season points by 1. You're always taking that into account. You have a lot of input in strategy, of a lot of input behind the wheel, and it's not just to chance. I think the overall sentiment of the race on Monday is different if Darlington happened 2 weeks ago or if it happened next week and Darlington happened last week or Daytona happened last week. You know what I mean? It's cool.
I didn't like it because I wanted it to be part of the playoffs until I saw how it all played out last night, and I was like, okay, this is better as a cutoff race. And obviously the next year's schedule is made already. But, man,
Should we get Ben Kennedy in here and pitch him on?
Sure. I'm sure, yeah. Why not?
What do you think about the schedule?
I think schedule's good. Like I said,
you get your passport? You're Florida, so do you have dual citizenship?
Actually, Hasser texted us, I don't know, but in the spring and said, hey, hearing rumblings that we might be going out of country for a race next year, make sure you have your passports. So whether that was Canada or Mexico or where did you say? Cape Town, Brazil. Wherever it
Geography
might be.
wasn't my strong suit.
Hey, listen, NASCAR Brazil cars are fire, though.
They are badass.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Bowman Gray.
They're talking about that 2030, maybe. I heard is kind of the. But
I do like Bowman Gray being on the schedule. I think that
I like Iowa being back.
I think that instead of spending, and I think NASCAR's doing a good job, instead of spending millions and millions of dollars
and losing millions and millions
to go to the LA Coliseum, give back to the short tracks. Give back, that is going to mean so much to Bowman Gray people. There's so much history there. If you can find a way, like even if the Clash takes place in the middle of the season, and you could find a way to give back to NASCAR tracks, listen, Cup guys are going to no matter where you send them.
For sure.
You can give them $100. They'll so you didn't give them a 20, right? Send them to Stafford. Send them to
Kern County.
I don't care if you send them to Kern County, Riverhead. I don't care where they go.
Thompson, wherever.
Somebody's going to figure out how to win.
Yeah.
And Bowman Gray look, people are going to bitch about it. This is stupid. Why are we here? It's a running track. Somebody's going to go there and figure out how to win. Yeah. And unless it's like Kyle Busch is like one of the only ones that'll win. And remember when the first COT car he won Bristol?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this car sucks.
It's the dumbest car I've ever driven.
But I like it. I like the schedule. I like the playoffs. Man,
I like you don't have to fly 6 hours cross country for the Clash, too.
I didn't have to go. That was nice. But I will say, before we even get to that part of the schedule, these playoffs, I'm scared the next 2 weeks.
Some saltines?
Well, it's just like, man, it's not the next 2 rounds. I mean, next 6 weeks, it's Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Bristol.
Yep.
So, like, for us, how it's been the last 2 years, like, we better have our ducks in a row by the time we get to Bristol, because we have had dismal Bristol runs, getting wrecked. Saw it happen with
usually fast,
but it's like we lost power steering. Joey got wrecked last year. I don't know how.
I don't know either.
But it's someplace that you want to kind of have your destiny controlled before you go there. And then Atlanta's going to be really hard. We should have won.
I don't think
Atlanta.
that's a tremendous wild card necessarily.
You could just get wrecked.
You could.
That's the biggest thing. Is like we've done really well at Atlanta, controlling the lanes. I think we finished second the last 2 times we were there. One of the closest finishes in NASCAR history. We didn't win. Penske cars genuinely do well there.
Blazing fast. They're rocket ships.
Watkins Glen is not going to be as straightforward. It sounds like there's a lot of tire fall off, backwards pit stops, very challenging pit road. We've seen multiple pit road penalties there. You don't want that.
And Juan Pablo Montoya.
And Juan Pablo Montoya is going to be there, dude. Good point.
Fired up about that.
Dude, that's a great point.
I don't think I've ever raced against Juan Pablo or in the same field of Juan Pablo. I'm one of the biggest Juan Pablo Montoya fans there is.
Like Juan Pablo a lot.
I might get his autograph for the race.
He looks cool as hell, too.
Do you think
Salt
it'd be
and
weird?
pepper
Hey,
hair.
man, sign my undershirt before the race gets going.
Remember that year that you had everybody sign your car? I thought that was cool.
Yeah, raised a lot of money for Samaritan's Feet that year. That was cool. The hood's over there, Samaritan's Feet as well.
And then you go to, Bristol. And then the second round is, Talladega, or Kansas, Talladega, Roval. So, really.
A lot of changes happening over there
us.
at the Roval. Have you seen those? Moving the chicane, last chicane before the start-finish line.
Yeah, they put some concrete.
Well, then they're moving the curb.
They made it tighter?
It's going – they moved the right side curb 15 feet, into the kind of the belly of the
Beast.
asphalt. The belly of the beast. So, you know how you can kind of, really truck the right side curb and then truck the left side curb and make it a bit straight? Now it's a distinct 90-degree corner, slow.
So you can really get punted.
That's what they want.
Oh,
right there in front of the grandstands. Oh,
that's what happened the first ever Roval race.
But
we're
now
running third.
And Jimmy goes
Jimmy goes backwards, and then all of a sudden we're walking to victory lane.
Oh. Well, that's going to happen because you're still going to be going fast off the banking. Now you're going to have to slow down to instead of, 70 to 40.
Well, and then you also miss that, and then you have to if you miss that, you're going to miss the next one. Then you have to stop and then go.
Well, then they connect, I don't even know what that is, 6 and 7. So you don't take a right where everybody runs with their right side doors right up against the wall there, and that left when you come back up where a lot of guys hit the fence. Now it's straight towards turn 1 of the big track. Little bit of a kink into another hairpin turn, relatively as tight as turn 11, if not tighter at Sonoma, a left-hander.
So it's going to be harder. You guys are going to have to earn the payments on your AMGs and your Cyber trucks that weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
man, I feel terrible.
You should. 9%
God
interest
forbid
on a
we
car
have
loan's
to
brutal.
brake more, downshift. Oh,
yeah, your left foot's going to be really sore.
Oh man,
it's tough.
Might have to put the Cybertruck on autopilot on the way home. Some of them guys. Dang it. Any shout outs this week?
Well, several shout outs. I was trying to get him on the podcast today. Scotty Mack won Gateway on yesterday, and also Connor Daly podium.
Let's go
on Saturday. Let's freaking go,
dude. Him and Santino Ferrucci were wheeling it on Saturday.
Santino Ferrucci, every time I watched on TV, he was sideways.
He didn't. He just driving, pissing everybody off.
Yeah,
does not care.
People don't like that fella.
No,
he's aggressive.
Okay. I'm telling you, he used to hang out with us quite a bit back in the Tony Stewart 14 days, and he was always a nice kid.
Yes, several
really
IndyCar
pisses people off. I'm here for it. Good for him. AJ Foyt wouldn't have him driving his car.
That's right.
If he wasn't
a little bit of an instigator, a little aggravator.
What do you think? Do you think Milwaukee Mile deserves a spot on our?
No.
Really, I would like to go there just for the IndyCar races on Oval.
Should have bought a ticket for the truck race, man.
The Smart Tour ran 2 races in one day. They had a race get rained out on Friday, so watch
Newman
that.
won one.
Newman won one. Danny Bone won the other. Man, I like watching the Smart Tour races, but their cautions are like intermissions. They got to get another tow truck.
I heard also that the car store race was like some guy in the burger shack was like flipping burgers, and like they had a caution, and he like had to leave the concession stand and then get like a leaf blower and blow the speedy dry off the track.
Short track racing, man. But like
we're spoiled.
Well, like the Smart Tour, I'm like, I love that your trophy's made by Jostens, but maybe you get a cheaper trophy and pay for a tow truck because I'm losing interest. And I'm building a modified, so I don't know.
Oh, also, shout out to the cop in McBee who pulled me over. Everybody knows the saying is do not speed through McBee. So I had my Waze on, scoping it out. I drove back and forth. I drove down to Florence, South Carolina for a Chili's appearance on Friday, which I was giving out penny stacker of the weeks like I was Oprah Winfrey. Got a whole list of people that were there.
That's what Sean Brennan even in our group chat was like, and you get a penny stacker, and you get a penny stacker.
They all earned it. They all deserved it. So I was driving back and forth that day, drove back and forth on Saturday after P&Q, and it happened on the way down for practice on Saturday. And it goes down from a 4-lane road, 4-lane highway, at 60 miles an hour, nice flowing countryside, into a one stoplight town, and it goes from 45, 35, 25 in 300 yards. I forgot that it goes down to 25. Traffic was flowing at 35. I might have been going 41. I get pulled over. He actually pulled me over, and then he stopped in the middle of the road, stopped traffic, pointed at the other two guys that were behind me, pointed them off the road too. So I was first.
Rookie move by you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Everybody. That's
the number one rule.
McBee is a legend on the NASCAR
They meet
circuit.
their entire they meet their entire year-long quota in the 1 week of the NASCAR.
Nobody else is driving through McBee all year. It's the locals, some people that take a wrong turn going to Myrtle Beach, and people going to Darlington.
For sure. So pulls me over. I think I was lucky because I was first. So I had my NASCAR driver number 7 parking tag, and I didn't put it on my windshield yet, but I put it up facing the opposite direction where it should have been. Get my license registration. I'm like, dang it, I haven't gotten a ticket in a while. And so I had it ready. And he comes up, he goes, going a little fast, wouldn't you? I thought I was only going 5 or 6 over the speed limit. It's 35 through there, right? He goes, no, it's 25, and you're going 17 over the speed limit. And I'm like, oh, no.
This math ain't mathin'.
I was like, I'm sorry. Here you go. And there was a Tesla behind me and another small car. And he takes it, and I was wearing my Spire shirt, Chili shirt, and he looks kind of looking around the car, and he goes, where are you going? I said, going to the racetrack. To work or to watch? I said, to work. Getting a little warmed up too early. He's like, you drive? I was like, yeah. He's like, slow down and get there. And I was like, yes.
Did you give him a Chili's gift card?
I should have. I don't think he could take bribes, though. I'm sure that he would get in trouble for that. I got a stack of them, though, in my truck. And I've got the platinum one still.
Nobody loves Chili's more than my wife.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It really is. So shout out to him. He was the original penny stacker of the week because he saved me a couple $100 from that ticket. Drive safe, kids.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Jacob from Florence. Justin Holland and Chesney from Wrightsville.
Chasney.
Jesus.
And they said Wrightsville. Wrightsville.
Say it with your chest.
Kathleen and Kyle from Tampa. Caleb from Gaston County. All those guys listen to the show. Had a lot of penny stackers this week. In addition to the people that I just named. Appreciate the support. Been getting a lot of encouragement from some people who I take a lot of put a lot of weight to their opinions and their words. So appreciate all those kind words. Appreciate y'all listening to the podcast, whether it's on YouTube or podcast or SiriusXM Channel 90.
Yeah, Trevor Halverson. He wrote me he sent me a good Instagram video of one of our Penske pit crew guys almost getting run over on the IndyCar race. And he just went back and forth and said that he was stoked for you to run top 10. So shout out to him as well, man.
I'm stoked
a lot
too.
Of challenge coins coming too. Keep them coming.
I got a sweet one. I got a couple patches this week too. So
sick.
I've got to add a couple additions to the coin wall and the patch wall.
Oh yeah.
Keep them coming. Or just give it to me when you see them. Appreciate that.
I'm Ryan Flores. Join Kim Kuhn and myself each and every week right here at Around the Track. Whether you are going to the racetrack or watching from home, we get you ready for all things national and regional level.
And we'll tell you who and what to watch for each week. Plus, we get you ready for the weekend at the racetrack, and Erica will help you place your bets to win some easy money.
Be sure to check out Around the Track every Wednesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
Anything grind your gears?
Nothing. I'm good. I mean, I kind of went on a little hard on the Smart Tour. They're doing a good job, but they do need another tow truck.
Tow mater.
That was the only thing that made me mad this week. I was like, man, why are these cautions always so long? Because I just love watching flow on, like, especially Saturdays, because I don't like to do much.
Nobody likes watching caution laps, though.
Or just cars sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturdays are my favorite in the playoffs because I just watch racing on flow and hydrate and play soccer with my kids. That's
well, let's just go ahead and do all too soon championship 4 pick.
Oh, man, that's tough.
That's why we're going to do it.
The first 2 rounds are really challenging, so it's hard to even say. I think the 5 showed their strength last night. I think it was a gift and a curse to lead that many laps because he tuned his car in clean air. Then when he got in dirty air, he was just a little bit off. So, but I think the 5 car, I think the 5-20 showed some strength last night, so I'll go 5-20.
And a lot of playoff points for that fellow.
12. And I don't know. I could have a buffer there. I would say maybe the 24 again.
Did you go 45?
45. I go back and forth. I just think law averages, man. The 45 has been so strong for so long that your luck eventually turns. It's just literally law averages.
What if it's not luck?
It's probably
what
not
if there's
luck,
execute,
but
they have speed. And Tyler's got some confidence, and he's making the right decisions. I think the 45 is a lock for me in the championship 4.
Okay. With Homestead,
I think that looking at it, and I'm friends with all of them, I feel like the 45 is more locked in on a championship run than the 5 is right now.
Yeah, I just, the 45 hasn't been there before.
He is the best driver with the best team in the field. Let me clarify that.
5?
Huh?
The 5?
Yeah. But I think the 45 is just confident and hitting on all 8 cylinders and doing the right things. And now, with that being said, it can also change in a week. So, I'm going 45-5. It seems like Christopher Bell always finds a way to make it to the championship 4. He is like a championship 4 machine. So I'm going to go with the 20. Who else we got? I think it's between the 11 or does somebody go on a Cinderella run? No, Truex cannot do it.
You mean like the 14 or something?
I would love to see Chase make a deep run.
What about Chase Elliott?
The fact that he was behind me for 490 miles last night doesn't make me very excited for their playoff run. Now, Chase, championship driver, Allen, Hall of Fame crew chief, and the 9 team, and anybody at Hendrick Motorsports has a chance to do it. I don't see them making a deep playoff run. I don't think they're stocked high with championship points. I think they finished 3rd in overall points.
I think, though, right now, like, the 5 car is only, like, 30-something to the good, which is...
Well, yeah, because they all reset.
Yeah. So you didn't pick the 12.
The 12, y'all are looking solid. I think that there are 6 guys that are on their own little,
I think so too.
Like plateau above everybody else with consistent speed and executing races and in contention. That's the 5, the 20, the 45. 24 has been slipping lately, but he's still in that group, the 12 and the 11. I think those 6 can turn up the wick and win a race when they need to any given week. Of those 6, I would take the 12 over the 24.
The other guy that I think is the biggest wild card, and it's him and his team, is Joey Logano. If he's a guy that gets momentum, he's like Denny, right? Denny with momentum is scary. Joey Logano with momentum is scary. And this, we've seen Penske time and time again, not just because I work there, but like peak at the right time. So we'll see. The 20 car has been pretty silent. The 24 has been pretty silent. We'll see where they go. Like I said, though, the first 2 rounds you're going to know because it's survive and transfer. That is it. Survive, transfer.
I have a feeling the 54 is going to make a deep playoff run.
He could. Pit crew was firing last night. I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to say the 54 goes to the round of 8. And who knows what could happen.
We'll see.
That's what I think. Fire off your thoughts. I don't know where you would do it. Into the dashboard if you're driving.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. Also, the encouraging words. Also, the you've been talking to because it's been a motivator too. So, not much to talk about this week, which you love to see it.
Spare change we're going to get into if you can win Atlanta or not. It's your best track.
We've been close.
So, tune in
been
to
a half
Spare
lap away.
Change, see what he has to say about it.
Yeah. Or watch it on YouTube, NASCAR's channel, or listen to us on SiriusXM Channel 90, or with your SXM app, and then wherever you find your podcasts, or at _Stacking Pennies for the Arctic Ice Cold Trivia Giveaway. And also, do not forget, Kickball Classic is coming up October 10th, the Thursday of the Roval. So if you're coming into town to watch some playoff racing at Charlotte, come in a day early. Come watch us kick the ball around. Some of your favorite drivers, some of your favorite media personalities, YouTube stars. Who else we got? AJ Styles. We have a ton of great celebrities coming out. It's going to be huge. It's going to raise a lot of money for the YMCA and Samaritan's Feet. I believe you can buy your tickets on CourtoftheJoyRacing.com.
More importantly, it's just an excuse for us to play the game we love of kickball.
That's it.
You get to come share the love that we have for this American classic with us.
It really is. It really is. It's like an adult field day.
You get a hot dog, meet your favorite drivers.
What else can you ask?
Cannonballer Stadium, great.
Fireworks.
Splash pad for the kids, fireworks.
There's nothing they don't have that
man.
you wouldn't.
You get to come take a picture with our Dale Earnhardt trophy that we're going to take back this year.
Yes, we are. It's ours. We're going to take it. And you're going to take this week, too, because y'all are going to stack pennies, have some fun, do all the small details right to get you to where you want to be. That's all I got. Y'all have a great week. Goodbye.